Do you remember when you were a kid and a book was a physical place you could escape to? You would sit under the blanket with a cheap flashlight, turning pages for 3 or 4 hours straight, completely oblivious to the fact that the rest of the world existed. Your bedroom walls disappeared. Time didn't matter. You were just there. And now you look at a book sitting on your desk or your nightstand, and it feels less like an escape and more like a silent critic. It sits there, gathering a thin layer of dust, reminding you of the person you wanted to be. You pick it up, determined to change. You read a paragraph, your eyes trace the words, but your brain doesn't actually register them. By the third sentence, your mind is already drifting towards a random piece of digital information you saw 3 days ago. Your thumb twitches, you check your phone, you close the book. It feels like a personal failure, doesn't it? Like you have somehow gotten lazier or stupider as an adult. But it's not just a personal failure. Your brain hasn't broken, it's just been trained to look for a different kind of magic. We live in an information economy that thrives on speed. Every app on your phone, every feed you scroll through, is a finely tuned engine designed to give your brain a tiny, immediate hit of satisfaction. Scroll down, new video. Click here, new headline. Swipe left, new post. It's an assembly line of instant gratification. A book doesn't work like that. A book is slow. It demands that you sit still, hold a piece of paper, and do the mental lifting required to turn black ink into a vivid landscape inside your head. It offers zero instant notifications. It doesn't give you a like or comment for finishing a chapter. When you try to transition from a 3 hour loop of short form internet clips straight into a dense piece of literature, your brain goes into shock. It's like trying to run a marathon when you have been sitting on a couch for 3 years. It hurts, it feels boring. So, because we can't sit still, we do the next best thing. We buy the books instead of reading them. We walk into a bookstore, look at the clean, beautiful covers, and spend money on 3 paperbacks. We bring them home and stack them neatly. But buying books and reading books are two entirely separate hobbies. One requires an attention span, the other just requires a transaction. We stack them because we want our rooms to reflect the person we wish were. The person who sits quietly and reads deep thoughts. Part of the reason we struggle to read again is that we have romanticized it too much. We think that if we are going to read, it has to be a profound experience. We think we have to sit by a rainy window with a steaming mug of tea, reading a heavy 19th century classic or a complex philosophical text that makes us feel highly intellectual. We force ourselves through books we don't even like, just because we feel like we should read them. But life is far too short to read books out of a sense of obligation. If you are 50 pages into a book and you are dragging your feet through it like dry sand, stop it. Put it down. Give yourself permission to walk away from it. If a book doesn't grab your spirit, forcing yourself through it won't make you a better reader. It will just make you stop reading entirely. Go back to what made you fall in love with pages in the first place. Read a fantasy novel made for teenagers. Read a cheesy mystery. Read a graphic novel. The goal right now isn't to look sophisticated to an imaginary audience. It's to remind your brain that turning a page can actually be fun. Your attention span is not permanently broken. It's just a muscle that's atrophied from lack of use. And just like any muscle, you can't train it by overworking it by day one. Don't try to read for an hour tonight. Try to read for 5 minutes. Read exactly 10 pages. 10 pages is a small, unglamorous number. It's so small that it's almost impossible to find a valid excuse to avoid it. But 10 pages a day is 300 pages a month. That's a whole life, a whole world, captured in 30 days, built entirely out of small, quiet moments. Another trick is by simply changing where the book lives. When you make your bed in the morning, place your book directly on top of your pillow. Don't leave it on the nightstand under your charging cable. Put it right where your head goes. That way when you crawl into bed at night and your hands automatically reaches out into the dark for your phone, it hits a physical cover instead. It forces a small moment of friction. It forces you to ask, do I really want to look at a glowing screen for another hour? Or do I want to see what happens next in this story? There is a beautiful, heavy silence that comes with a book. It's a silence that the modern internet is terrified of. Because if you stay quiet for too long, you stop clicking, you stop consuming, and you start thinking. You don't need a public reading goal. You don't need to track your progress on an app to prove you're smart. You just need to let yourself slow down. If you get distracted tonight after one paragraph, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just close the page, take a breath, and try again tomorrow. Go put your phones in another room tonight, just for 10 minutes. Pick up a story, see where it takes you. Thanks for sitting with me for a bit. Take it easy tonight. And this is Hi Theta.